How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the single trade that I took on NQ. I took a short once we started to form a lower high. Ended up taking one winning trade. We're up 382 on the day, just a little over 1800 on the account. We're getting close to that 2600 goal to remove the trailing stop um, or the trailing drawdown on the PA account and be able to reach our first potential payout. So pretty exciting stuff. Only about $800 away from that. But let's get into the trade. Before we get into the trade, I'm just going to go over a few levels that we had. We had 22,220. We had 22,170, 22,138 or 35, excuse me. 22,105, 22,050, and 21,950. These levels are all derived off of the points of control from 8 and 4 hour time frames. Mostly, occasionally I'll go down to a 1 hour as well. But generally, I'm genuinely basing these levels off of the 8 and 4 hour time frame. If you've seen any of my videos, you kind of understand. I'm not going to cover that too in depth, but that's how I get my levels. I'm just looking at liquidity really on higher time frames, and it works out pretty well. So let's take a look at what happened. We overnight. So yesterday dropped off the open, rallied, and then overnight pre-market kind of sold off. We started to bounce in the pre-market, and we started to form this pre-market high. When the market opened up, we tested around that pre-market high, right around the level I had at 22,220. Tested that, fell down to the next, got a little temporary bounce, and then started selling off pretty aggressively. I didn't enter short because there's no entry for me, right? I would like to see some sort of confirmation on the 5 minute. That's kind of one of my rules. And we were just not getting that. We were selling off really aggressively. It was hard not to get FOMO when you see the market just dropping hundreds of points. If it's moving up or moving down, anytime you see a really aggressive move, obviously there's a lot of opportunity within that move if you're in it, but not necessarily opportunities to get in with my strategy at least. So just sat on my hands and waited. At this point, it's pretty obvious that we had some weakness in the market. At that point, I was kind of looking for a lower high to short and look for continuation. Wasn't really looking for a bounce. We did bounce like almost perfectly off that 950 and set the low of the day. It's almost incredible how accurate that was. But nonetheless, we bounced. Didn't really like the risk to reward taking any long in here. Had we come down and kind of settled like we did yesterday, and I was able to take a little bit less risky entry on that bounce, I might have. But I was primarily looking for a lower high to short. We bounced. We tested this level here. I didn't short this. If we're looking at the 1 or the 5 minute time frame. We came down, we bounced pretty aggressively. We tested this level and had this point of control really high up here, and we saw that rejection. And then we got this point of control holding kind of the previous hammer candle's point of control on the next 5 minute candle before moving up pretty aggressively. I didn't take a short here. I felt like it was too close to this kind of rounding out this bottom. In fact, I was actually thinking more long in here when we were holding like we were. But then we moved up and we had a test of 22,105. You see it test it once. Kind of price starts rounding out. We get a second test. We get that point of control right up there, close weak. I entered right before we closed. I think in probably like the last minute or so of the candle. But really this is looking at, we had the 15 minute come up and test and close. And then if we look at the 15 minute point of control for that, it will load here. Where are we? We had that 15 minute point of control pretty high up in the candle, like right around where price closed. And then obviously we started testing it on the 5 minute and then the 1 minute. If I pull up the 1 minute over here, scroll back, you can see that what convinced me was that we were having higher volume on these rejections. So we came up and started to form that upper wick. We get a volume increase. Then as we sold off and have this pretty, bearish candle on the 1 minute, we get increased volume. And then we have decreased volume as we come up to retest this area. Once we start to hit this level, we see the volume pick up, as well as, obviously price action on the 5 minute is showing some rejection, price action and volume on the 1 minute showing some rejection. We also have the point of control on the 5 minute, right up there, kind of where we would want to see it in terms of indication that once price gets up here that sellers are active. When we see that happening in the volume as well as the price action, that gives me the confidence to enter. So after we kind of tested it, came up, tested again, and started dropping back, I entered right here. My stop loss was just above that wick. So it was a 15-point stop. If I click on the screen here, it should show. That's about what it looked like. I think my entry was a little bit better than that. I think it was somewhere like in here. So I had a little bit of leeway over that wick, but not a lot. So tight risk. You can see where my take profits are. I had one at 30 points, and then I put my other just above this next level that I had at about 45 points, I believe it was. So 6 contracts, took 5 at 30, took 1 at about 45, 42, it looks like it was. So just a little over 40. Pretty good trade, almost no drawdown at all. I think maybe this little wick had me in a point of drawdown for a second, but pretty straightforward, pretty smooth. Now I did technically take another trade here. It was a single contract. I stopped out at break even. I was just kind of playing around. Once I saw price pull back down into this 22,000 level, because we have that point of control on these 2 green candles that sent us higher, we came down and we started to hold it. On the 1 minute, you see the volume coming in as we come down and test that level and then start moving up. So I entered, and then as soon as price went in my favor, I just slid my stop loss to break even. It was a single contract, and I was just shooting to see if I could catch a move back up to this level, which is about a 40-point move or so. Like I said, I was just kind of playing around. I got stopped out for 2 points, so that was a trade. Not really. I wouldn't have probably taken that very seriously. I mean, that wouldn't have been a trade that I would full size into for sure. Anyways, that is the single trade I took on the day. Like I said, counts up a little over 1,800. We're making some progress. If we just look at how prices respect these levels, it's been pretty good. Yeah, just excited to keep trading and keep trying things and making this account grow and lead to payouts, hopefully. So I'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Looking to close the week strong tomorrow on a Friday. I'll be streaming, obviously, on this account. I stream Monday through Friday. If you want to stop by, hang out, please do. You're welcome. And that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.